Hi everyone, Said here for this week's video. I don't really have a topic, but I really want to talk about finishing a book. So I hope everyone's doing well, staying healthy and safe and warm. And yeah, I finished the book over the weekend. Actually, it was on Sunday morning around like 2, 3 a.m. So yeah, I was writing like crazy. I was so close to finishing it. I was like, I'm gonna sleep when I'm done with this. And I'm still feeling the effects of having stayed up that late. But yeah, I did it. And it's basically my fourth book that I have ever finished. Fifth if you count in one that I intend to eventually publish, but it's going to be completely edited. And second book that I intend to publish. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about this because I have a tendency to start projects and start writing, get really excited about it, write a ton, like hundreds of pages, and then I'll be like, eh. So yeah, this is a huge milestone for me to actually have finished something, and this one I'm planning to publish sometime around this time of the year next year, so towards 2026. And what happened is that I actually got the idea for the story in like 2017, and I remember this moment because I was given this notebook by a friend. We are unfortunately no longer in contact, but I still sometimes think about her. I still have that notebook, and I started writing down ideas for stories in that one. And I remember it was the year when the breakup with the ex-fiance happened and all that. And I remember staying at my cousin's for a while, and we were sitting on her couch and talking about stories, and I was writing down my ideas there on the notebook. And so yeah, the idea for this one story came up already in 2017. I had the name of the story. I had the idea of a guy who goes insane, but I had no idea why. Like, why would have that happen to him? And nothing, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. I did write one of the scenes where it shows like how he's being affected mentally by whatever is ailing him. So yeah, I left it at there. And this autumn, when I was actually working on another project, a fantasy sci-fi project, like the prequel of that project, and I had been following on and off this case that is going on about certain celebrities, and I was listening to a video and suddenly heard something that made me go like, excuse me? And I listened to that video to the end, and then I listened to it again, started writing down notes, and then I realized that I have it, And so for the past 4 to 5 weeks, I've been working on the story. And what basically has been going on is that I had the characters in mind. Some of them sprang up while I was writing. Some of them I had an idea, like who would be the good guys and who would be the bad guys and stuff like that. And so I wrote down like what I would like to happen to them. And then I just started writing like crazy. And sometimes I actually had to stop and think like, is this realistic? And the searches that I had to do for this story, like, I hope whoever has to go through my search results, whoever, like, whatever, agents or whatever who are keeping tabs on people who make certain searches, hopefully they understand that I'm a writer. And sometimes I didn't even get any results. It was like, here's a helpline for you. And yeah, but yeah, I had to like really, you know, do a lot of research, but also I got like I was just writing away for hours and hours, and um yeah, it was insanity basically. And I also had to look at a lot of like street view images and stuff like that to describe places as realistically as I could. Um, and so, but still, I think I managed to get to 50K words in like less than 2 weeks. And then the story ended up, you know, like I said, I wrote for like 4 to 5 weeks. Did I mention that? Maybe I did. Anyway, but I ended up with like 150K words at the end. Like, yeah, some of it is like I wrote down all the characters that I have in it and when they first appear or get mentioned. And there's also a couple of disclaimers and stuff like that. So that added to the word count a little bit. But yeah, it's just like when I finished it, when I wrote I used a specific symbol to indicate the end of the story. I could have easily turned this into a series, but I was like, it just didn't feel right. Because the thing is, you know, the events this book is based on real life events. Everyone involved has been like they do have their representatives in the story, the main people, but you know, it's just been to enrich the story, deepen the story. And yeah, I actually wrote a disclaimer that, you know, this book is drawing inspiration from various real life events and public figures to create a compelling narrative. And everything has been fictionalized for dramatic purposes. And yeah, there were numerous, like, while I was writing, I would sometimes overhear in a video that something had come up, something new, and then I had to make a choice, like, do I want to include this or leave it out? And sometimes I would just describe that event shortly and like make my own version of it. But more often than not, I had to leave things out. And yeah, the inclusion of these real life elements, the purpose is to highlight certain broader themes and issues that have arisen, you know, to people's consciousness. Like, I think these are all things that people were kinda aware that could be happening, but the extent of it had not really been fully realized, I guess. But anyways, I did my best to write about all of these things as respectfully as possible. And, you know, I didn't want to misrepresent anyone or, you know, exploit anyone's interest. And I even state at the end disclaimer that I do really like everything that has come up about these cases. It's just horrible, you know, like sometimes I've had to stop listening to a video because I just sympathized with the, you know, the people who have been involved, the victims especially, that I just couldn't listen to it. And with these sort of things, I didn't want to delve too deep into their experiences, so they are presented in the story as a report, like somebody is reporting on what happened instead of me trying to get into that character, like into that character's mind. But yeah, it was definitely difficult, you know. It felt like walking on a tightrope. And, you know, to like, I want to get this story out and these people's story out, but I also didn't want to like make it, I don't know how to explain it properly. But yeah, it was difficult, and it was difficult, you know, choosing like what to include and how to include it, and view all of that. But yeah, my cousin is actually currently reading that story, and so far she hasn't given me much feedback. Like I told her she can take her time with it and, you know, leave her comments and then share them with me. And once she shares that file with me, I can share her the second part. Because this might actually come out as a duology, you know, instead of one thick book, because there are a lot of words in it, you know, and typically crime novels are less than what I wrote, so maybe having it as a duology would make more sense. And then eventually I could publish it like an anniversary kind of edition at one point, as one thick book. But yeah. What else to say about this? But yeah, when I finished it, when I had the final symbol there, I was like, I was so overwhelmed, you know, that I could barely go to sleep. I was way too excited. And it was also like feeling just like I was happy, and I am happy, and I'm proud, but it still feels like a disbelief, you know, like I'm in disbelief that I managed to do this. And yeah, this video is all over the place, by the way, because I am all over the place right now. But yeah, I've also been in this, like, because I was so focused on the story that I now, like, I'm supposed to do real life things, but I'm like, I don't want to do the real life things. I just want to go into my head for a little while and just, you know, not focus on the real life. But unfortunately I need to work, so you know, no dice there. That was my laptop letting me know that Windows Defender has checked on things. Okay, buddy, thank you. Now, when I had finished this story, this crime novel, by the way, my admiration for crime novelists has definitely increased during this project, because holy, like, how do people keep all the threads in their hands and, you know, tie up all the loose ends? And I had the problem because I got so many characters in this, like much more than usual in crime novels, that I actually had to insert, yeah, a character list, you know. But yeah, hats off to everyone who writes these sort of books on the regular. Now, yeah, I could have turned this into a series, but it just didn't feel right. Like, it just felt exploitative, I guess that's the correct word. And there's a tons of other projects that I would like to, you know, move on to. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed writing this one, and I hope it really shows when you guys get to read it, either in Finnish or English, because I'm gonna be translating this from English to Finnish. Like, for example, my mom would like to read it, but, you know, she knows English, but for reading a book, she enjoys reading things in Finnish more, okay? Now, this other story that I already finished in 2018 and 2019, first in Finnish and then in English. It is at the stage where I'm just checking that the translations match, making some other edits. Like, there's definitely some content that I want to change because it no longer resonates with who I am as a writer. And I did write a disclaimer, like, I need to translate this into Finnish. You know, sometimes things come easier to me in English, but I need to, like, I just want people to know, you know, from the start, what they're getting into, and that they hopefully don't complain too much. Like, I know there's definitely a few criticisms that I'm gonna be receiving about this one, but I've decided not to worry about it too much and just get this published to finally have something published. Because my problem is that I keep refining, I keep editing, I keep moving things to files that I call the draft dump file, you know, and then there's more content in that file than in the actual draft file. But yeah, I wanted to write a disclaimer that, you know, this is a work of fiction featuring elements such as zombies, so that should be your clue that this is a work of fiction, and that there's actions and behaviors of certain characters and the organizations that they represent that are intentionally exaggerated and sometimes completely unhinged. You know, I am heavily influenced by manga and anime, and I feel that especially in this type of series of these media, there's characters who are just otherworldly unhinged, you know? So many of my characters tend to be like that as well. Yeah, there's some aspects that reflect reality, but they are portrayed in a highly fictionalized manner. And yeah, using a lot of creative liberties in how certain organizations might allow their members to behave. And yeah, reader discretion is advised because the story will contain themes of violence, harsh language, and mature content. You know, and so yeah, that is under the works right now, being edited and stuff, and the current plan is to have it out by the end of January 2025. So before February, there's definitely going to be a book published by me. And like I said, I'm not going to be spending too much time refining this. Yeah. And the twist with the story is that there's two timelines, and towards the end of the story, these timelines will be meeting. So hopefully that will catch people's attention. Now, anyway, that's about all I have for this video. Just wanted to give a quick update on, you know, how the writing has been going, and then what's coming in the next month or two, you know. Oh, quick update regarding work. So I don't know if my job contract is going to continue after January. I'll be talking with my boss hopefully this month if he's not too busy, but definitely at the start of next year I will have to talk to him. Now, I'm not too worried about getting employed elsewhere. I just rather would not move because I love my apartment. Like, I know I can make a home wherever, but I just really love this place, and moving is a hassle. And then, you know, I'd have to spend at least 2 to 3K in it, you know, to moving elsewhere, especially I have to move to like southern Finland or something like that. So I'd rather not do that, but we'll see, you know, fingers crossed that I get to stay. But honestly, I will not be too heartbroken if I don't, but it would definitely make life easier. Thankfully, I also get to continue my prescription of escitalopram, or Lexapro for English-speaking world. And the thing was that I was supposed to take a break from it around January, but I just spoke to my doctor on Monday and told her that, hey, you know, I'm actually probably going to be dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety in the next 1 to 2 months. And she was like, okay, you can continue. And once things settle down, I have about half a year left of the prescription. So once things settle down, I can start, you know, taking less of escitalopram and then, you know, take a break from it. And if it looks like I need to get on it again, then I can talk to the doctor again. But yeah, that's basically everything that's going on here. I finished the book. I'm editing another one that I plan to publish very soon. And yeah, hopefully everyone's doing well. Have a great day or evening, whatever your time zone over there is. And I'll talk to you all next week. Bye.